Friday, welcome to the show. I am Murayo Afolabi Brothers. Always I have the ladies with me. Hello, Nimaj Akashat Zibiri.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm fine. I'm grateful to God. I've started my fast today after
finally
the evacuation procedure yesterday. So I'm good and I'm sure I'm healthy to start fast. I've missed about 7 days.
Which you pay back after.
It's only God Almighty that will help us. But you know, Ramadan is such a special month because I wasn't fasting. My children just did not get it. Because daddy fasts, nobody sees. But it goes to work the drama, so. We'll be rounding up exams today on her Quran memorization.
Oh.
Looking forward to that. They did not admit our Oga. It's not of age yet.
Yeah. Okay. That's good. How you doing, Tokwe?
I'm very good, grateful to God for life. My parents came to see their grandchildren yesterday for their birthday, you know, and grandma brought a bicycle, you know. I was just like, I'm grateful, you know, that we have this moment together, and I'm learning to cherish it. So this year my dad will be 70, so it's giving a different look. I'm seeing my parents and I'm seeing them older, and like it's dawning on me like this. My parents are not just they are getting old, you know. But I'm really grateful to God that I have them, and they are hale and what's the word? Happy, yeah. But I was going to say, please, sorry, I know you have your banter, but there was this word that I listened to in the podcast this morning, and it links to the story of Ayo yesterday. I got back home to rewatch yesterday's show, though, and it's really inspiring. He said, God can't use you publicly until you get victory privately. Many of us want that public God validation, like want to arrive, but we must first take that journey within, that have personal victory. Then when you step out, God will use you because you've overcome, you've done some job within yourself, and I think it's important.
How are you doing, Mariam?
I'm fine. Yesterday.
You look sexy.
Thank you. I don't know if you can see that on.
You look good.
Thank you. So yesterday I spent my evening at an event. MM invited me. It was called Going Green: Nigeria's Path to Sustainable Development. Nice. So just conversation about how we as individuals and corporates, you know, need to start making deliberate lifestyle choices that will protect our environment, whether we like it or not. So people who have, you know, there were just amazing people there. Professor Newton Jibuno, we know him, the man who had crossed the desert 4 times. So, you know, just so many other people doing one thing or the other, teaching about waste collection, recycling. Fantastic conversation, good, but, you know, we're trying to say how we can move this thing from just conversation to everyday living. And so, yeah, I'll be doing a few more posts on those things. Let's see.
When I drove in this morning to TVC, I saw a bottle trash. And I was like, oh, this is really cool that they have just for bottles, a recycling container. Well, I haven't seen it. I just saw this one, the plastic waste. It was really interesting to see that right in my presence.
An artwork done in bottles.
At the plastic bottles
at the motorways opposite us here.
Yeah. I'm seeing quite a lot of that, the round orange thingy. Around, the people just throwing bottles there. I mean, so I guess we're gradually...
So let me ask the first question. In your homes, do you separate your waste?
I don't separate mine, but I fold mine. All my cardboards I fold properly. I don't just throw them like I throw them, but we need to separate our waste.
There was a time we had someone on the show and we had this very intensive conversation years back, and I was conscious about separating it. But I have gone back into the usual lump it all together.
Separating is just bottles for me. Take the bottles that
okay, so you separate.
So I have this new trash in my new house. But I have this recycling and thing. So don't worry, we'll. Guess what? I had electricity all night.
Wow.
Yeah. Please.
Oh God.
I had light all night.
No wonder. So they took some of mine and
because I kept waking up at night. Oh, my team low. I'm like, what's going on? We still have light, and I'll turn on the heater because then I saw the rain. I couldn't turn on the heater so that in the morning we'll have. It's not perfect. Wake up this windows, warm water. Like, I was really cool.
I'm telling you.
But we're grateful.
Thank you, NEPA, for giving us light. We appreciate it. What's their name now?
PHCN.
No, they're not PHCN. They're discos.
Ikeja discos.
Thank you for the light. We appreciate it. Let's go on a break. When we come back, we go to the front page of the paper. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Where are we? Thanks for staying with us. Now we're going to review the papers. Start with The Nation. Attacked train. Families of abducted passengers protest. Ramfac, that's this. Ramfac proposed a 3.3% cut in federal government allocation, and they proposed a new formula. Mass redeployment in police. Ondo Governor Akeredolu not ill in Germany. 2022 budget deficit to hit 7.38 trillion naira. Okay, major headline, Nima.
Yes, I have the major headline.
Okay, go ahead.
So there was a ministerial briefing yesterday by the Ministry of Transportation as regards to those who, the sad event of the Abuja-Kaduna train attack. And it was the Minister of State for Transportation, Ms. Bimishola Saraki, that was speaking. And she just tried to allay fears of the families of the victims, that the government is working really hard with security operatives to see how they can rescue those who have been kidnapped, and also, express our condolences to those who had lost family members already. But the story is just so sad because many people who were there were giving, their own personal story. There's a man who was there who said he's got a sister who's 7 months pregnant amongst them. And then there's a sister-in-law. She's 7 months pregnant, and her husband were kidnapped, a couple and two sisters as well. Just so many stories, and just to remind us that these are real life human beings with families at home. They're saying that even though it's fasting period, they're not even fasting well because they cannot imagine what these people are thinking. Some of them have, ailments that they have been treating and taking care of, like diabetes, hypertension. They are wondering what they are going through, and they cannot imagine what they are thinking. And so they're just begging government to please do all that it can to rescue them and just, take away this pain.
Another account in, I think, Vanguard is that 250 million naira already has been paid as ransom. So I suspect, personal opinion now, that the MD of the Agricultural Bank, who was released, obviously paid. Well, he wasn't released in the spirit of Ramadan. Because
those rumors are out there. Some
Ramadan,
said
the pregnant women and children.
Exactly, that's what my question.
So it's about money. This is a trade and a major crime.
All right, so, go ahead.
Linking in with truth in journalism, the Chief Press Secretary of Ondo State Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu, his name is Richard Olatunde, has dismissed the report going around that the governor of Ondo State is ill in a German hospital. And let me just quote him. He said, journalism is about separate truth. A journalist cross-checks facts and presents only the truth and not fabricated stories. That the governor isn't ill or in the hospital in Germany. The governor took a first quarter 2 weeks break. Within that 2 weeks break, he spent 3 days attending an international investment conference in Dubai, and the pictures were everywhere. He and his brother were in Dubai attending that conference till the 31st of March. He doesn't understand why people were now spreading the rumor that he's ill in Germany and that he had handed over properly for 2 weeks so that his deputy governor can handle
I remember the story when we took it. They said that after that investment summit, they were all going on their medical checkup. So we knew that they were going to go to
Okay, so...
Sorry, he has deployed commissioners in Edo, Adamawa, Kaduna, and Imo State. And so, as announced by the public relations officer of the police, Olumuyiwa Adejobi, these new officers for Edo, Sikiru Akonde Kayode, Abutu Yaro has been deployed as the commissioner for police in Edo. Sikru Akonde, Kayode, Yekini Adio, Ayoku, and Mohammed Ahmed Bade are to move to Adamawa, Kaduna, and Imo State, respectively. And the details of it shows their various qualifications academically and why they've been redeployed also.
So the RAMFAC, the Revenue Allocation Mobilization Fiscal Commission, has submitted a proposal to the federal government concerning a new sharing formula for federal allocation. So according to them, they reduced the amount going to the federal government. They reduced from 52.68 to 45.17. That money saved has been shared to the states and also to the council. So they increased the states by 3.7%, and about 0.44% was given out to the councils. Now, the president had responded through Femi Adesina, who was speaking there, and was giving a speech. Yeah, thanked the RAMFAC for this review, saying that considering the changing dynamics of our political economy, such as deregulation, privatization, fund arrangement, and primary education healthcare, they see that there is a need to take another look at the revenue sharing because of the amount of money that is being spent and needed for all these other sectors, and saying that they are happy about this review, but this cannot be immediately implemented, but I think it will be eventually still looked at. But it's a good step as we review these figures that are coming from RAMFAC. Okay, moving on quickly to the Punch. National Assembly fights Malami back, appeals Electoral Act judgment. 2022 budget deficit jumps to 7.35 trillion naira. Buhari to borrow 965 billion naira. After denial, Lagos appoints Uluomo head of Parks Garages Committee. My father raped me for 1 year on beach, girlfriend's house, says Lagos teenager. Ogun youth, friend rape, kill OAU graduate, suspect's parents celebrate arrest. Adeboye's on Leke apologizes for calling pastors goats. NNPC seeks special courts to prosecute oil thieves. Suspected Russian hackers target Nigerian websites, hit Bet Naija. And train victims' families protest as Transportation Ministry briefing. Okay.
The major headline quickly.
Major headline, please.
You know, the section 84 sub, I'm trying to get the subsection, that, you know, cause wahala about requiring appointees of the federal government or government. Section 84 sub 12 of the Electoral Act that bars political appointees and ministers, commissioners, and aides from contesting or voting in any party primary before, while they are still in office, has been contested in court, and the court, you know, said that it runs contrary to the Constitution, section. I'm trying to get it runs contrary to the Constitution, which only requires them to resign from office 30 days to elections. Yeah. And so the National Assembly are vexed. They have gone to get a bam lawyer to go on and contest that judgment, appeal that judgment against the parties who sued on that judgment. Based on the new court ruling, the Minister for Justice obviously declared in Kebbi State to run, and some appointees are moving on to do the needful. Yeah. They are also open on the President's request, which the National Assembly kicked out, to vary that section and allow them continue in office. But that's the new thing.
Let's take another story.
Hopefully, they have to step down.
Human interest story. So a 23-year-old boy has been arrested. His name, Ikenna James, for allegedly raping and killing a 29-year-old lady. I don't know if I should say her name because I feel she's the victim here. Yeah. You know, and the story is that he and his friend found a way to climb through her ceiling into her room while she was sleeping, raped her, and then because she recognized them, went ahead and strangled her. The next morning, her neighbors, his parents included, noticed that her ceiling had been broken into, her room had been broken into. And lo and behold, who did they see walking out, climbing down the ceiling? It was James Ikenna. He was held down, vigilante held him down, they called the police, and he was arrested. The parents are saying the police should do all that is needed to punish him severely, that he has been a problem for them, he's the black sheep of the family, and so whatever punishment he deserves should be given to him. Really, sad story. Very 23-year-old boy has destroyed his life and wasted a life.
Oh, very sad. Let's go on a quick break. And we come back, we continue with the review. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned.
Thanks for staying with us. Moving on now to Punch. We're still on Punch, actually. There was a story you wanted to take.
I wanted to take the human interest. Another sad story of rape. But this time, incest by the father of the girl. Poor young 16-year-old girl narrated to the court how her father, Emmanuel Odega, had started defiling her from age 14 at their house in Baduri Aja, always at the beach, and then later on inside the house, he moved them again. Whenever he feels suspected, moved them to his girlfriend's house in Lekki and continued the act on her. She tried to talk to her elder brother. He waved it aside. And, you know, eventually one day he just got upset and said she had to leave the house. Then they were at the girlfriend's house and she said she was not leaving. Where would she go? Obviously, she had subjected to that rape because, you know, she was helpless. And so she spoke out when neighbors came in and said, he's been defiling me. And now he wants to throw me out, you know, because maybe this has to stop. And so when they reported it to the Lagos State Domestic and Violence, Sexual Violence Agency, this was taken up, it was investigated. He said it was spirit that led him.
There is the spirit. We need to arrest the spirit.
We need to,
I think we need to kabash the spirit.
We need to.
Bad spirit
we need
out
to
of
catch
people.
it.
So,
wrong.
yes, I have a story in the Punch. Fallout from the Russia-Ukraine attack. America, the United States intelligence has already announced that there might be more cyber attacks by GRU. That's the intelligence arm of the Russian military. And a Nigerian company fell fell into that category of those that they were going to affect. Bet Niger specifically had been having issues. They told their customers that they felt it was something wrong with their website, but they found out that it wasn't just something wrong with their website. They've been attacked by Russian, according to them, Russian cyber criminals have attacked their website, so it's no longer working, but they are promising that they would come back with a bang for all their loyal customers.
In a related story, though, which is not in the papers, we know that United Nations has suspended Russia from this Human Rights Council, and Nigeria was part of those who abstained from that vote. Many countries have also been very arguing. They're not really there. They've been on the fence on this issue of should we not, but Nigeria definitely
statements.
Let's move on to daily, so probably see it somewhere else.
Okay.
States, local governments to earn more than FG in the new revenue. Southeast APC leaders demand party's presidential ticket for zone. Bolanle, I'll be delighted to go to court, says Soyinka. FG takes over unclaimed dividend trusts. Killings bomb terrorist enclaves now. Kaduna pastors tell FG. Be fair, firm. President charges APC new chair, Adamu. Okay, which story are we starting with?
Unclaimed dividends. Yes. So the Secretary, Securities and Exchange Commission has announced through their boss, Lamido Yuguda, that the federal government will be taking over unclaimed dividends into a new trust fund that will be managed by the Debt Management Office as well as SEC, so that SEC is not the only agency that will manage or oversee unclaimed dividends. Of course, this got shareholders talking that, you know, federal government have moved away from their business into private business, and these funds should be managed by shareholders and not federal government, because they suspect that, you know, federal government will use the unclaimed dividend funds for their business, which should not be. But as it is now, they are saying they are doing this to sort of regulate the funds and manage it on behalf so that there are no abuses. But the shareholders are claiming that the abuse can only come from the federal government.
Yes, so Kaduna State, pastors in Kaduna State have come together under the banner of what they call the Interfaith Alliance. And for them, they were protesting just all that's happening in Kaduna, banditry, terrorism, criminalities of all sorts. And they're saying that government needs to do more, that they acknowledge that government is doing its best, but its best is not good enough, considering, of course, everything that we wake up to read and people are experiencing every day in Kaduna State. And so they came together on this walk, and they called it Kaduna Praise, and they're hoping that, you know, while government is fighting terrorists and doing better, they also should do other things like compensate victims of these attacks, as well as award scholarship to their children, help to rebuild their communities, that all these put together will just help, you know, ameliorate the trauma that they go through and help them, you know, come out of it eventually. But to just leave them. And, you know, I always worry about that. When we report these things that happen, what else do we do to the community? Do we just leave them, you know, ravaged, shackled? Or we hear that eventually some of them end up at these camps. And I just feel like this is a cycle. You're ravaged by bandits and terrorists, and still there's nothing on the other side from government that helps to ease the pain of what you have gone through.
So Professor Wole Soyinka has expressed his disapproval of Chief Iyola Omishoro as the National Secretary of the ruling party, and because according to him, he is a prime suspect in the alleged murder of Chief Bola Ige. And he was saying this at an event, Forget the Past, Forfeit the Future, at an event where he was a media interaction in Lagos State. And he was quite disappointed that the president had actually initially indicated, I think Femi Falana also said that the president had promised to reopen the case of Bola Ige and take this case to court. And Wole Soyinka said he'll be happy to appear in court if need be. But it's wrong, according to him, for this individual specifically, is like unleashing scorpions in our memory, according to the essayist. Okay, let's move on quickly now to the Nigerian Tribune. All theft, Nigeria loses $1.5 billion in 3 months. Pastors protest killings in Kaduna, demand massive bombing of bandits. 20 cows die in Kogi after grazing. Government advises 1 week abstinence from beef consumption. 2023, Osinbajo set to declare in a matter of days. FG to finance 2022 budget deficit with new borrowings. And yeah, that's it. What is the story?
Major headline.
Major headline.
The group managing director of the NNPC Limited has said that, you know, I like that he said crude oil theft is an elitist business. And he said that because of this, Nigeria's oil production continues to drop daily. And this is due to their activities, saying that Nigeria has lost 1.5 billion worth of crude oil to crude oil theft between January alone and March this year alone. Yeah. And this loss, you know, is about 250,000 barrels per day. And so he's asking that the EFCC and the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit track movement of illicit funds accrued through oil theft to international markets, that, you know, there's a way they can follow the money and find the thieves. They're also looking at the Senate chairperson on House Committee on Petroleum Resources, Honorable Sarkin, that is urging the president to declare a state of emergency on crude oil theft and, you know, curb this as much as possible. But it's good that they know it's the BB people that doing are involved, and they can. Okay.
I want to just take this story before we run up. There was attack in Soludo's local government in the States specifically. It's called the Equilobia local government, and this is the second local government set ablaze in like 2 weeks. 2 people have been reported dead in this attack. We know that the new governor has come up with a committee to bring peace. I believe that people of Imo, people of Anambra, people of this citizen, this region, are being used by a few elements to cause problem and destroy properties within their state. If anybody is paying you to destroy properties within your state, you should think about it yourself and do not allow yourself to become the tool to cause harm to your own people.
We have to wrap up. Is there any important story you want to take in Vanguard? Buhari approves railway surveillance court. NURTW crisis. Opera has Lagos State appoints Oluomo Parks committee head. Bola Ige, we talked about that already.
Surveillance.
The president has approved, you know, so the surveillance contract for surveillance of the rails. This is due, but the story goes on and on about why it wasn't approved before and how it didn't make sense that it wasn't approved.
And it's still costing 3 billion naira.
Yes.
It's still costing 3 billion.
No, I don't know. The details are not there. Okay. But the Lagos State has appointed their park managers to include the retired commissioner for police from Lagos, AIG, Akim Udumosu, liaison officer, government liaison officer, Musli Akisoya, that's MC Oluomo, Suleiman Nojora as deputy chairman, Dr. Taiwo Salam as the secretary, Olaiwola Lebimoyo, and all of them. A lot of them have been appointed as park managers since the NURT activities have been suspended and, you know, taken off Lagos.
Practically dissolved.
Yes.
That's all we can take on Front Page Review. It's Friday. What's happening in the celebrity world? Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So Fridays, we try to find out what's going on in the celebrity world. And then found this story that was brewing since yesterday or 2 days ago. So the Nollywood actress and social media influencer Nkechi Blessing Sunday and her now ex-husband Opeyemi Falego, aka ODF, both set social media ablaze as they revealed reasons why they parted ways. The split comes as a surprise to many Nigerians because just months ago, they were on the social media displaying their love and affection for each other, vowing never to leech each other. In fact, she went as far as saying that she'll pour, is it bleach or something, acid on somebody, whoever tries to take her man. But hey, things happen. There's always there's a thin line between love and hate. So we understand that that's not even the issue. But as we always like to say, we don't like talking about people. We don't like to elicit the lessons from these people's experiences. So we don't know her, we don't know him, we're not trying to condemn their persons. We're talking about the experience. What can we learn from it? You can call us on 081-270-53687, 091-390-7694. You can also tweet us and send a tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourView TVC so we can read your tweets. Now, so the experience we're referring to here is shaming each other. You know, after I've been intimate with somebody for a while, after I've shared moments, not just with a spouse or with a boyfriend or girlfriend, but even with friends. You know, you have my secret, you're my best friend. We were close together for many years. And suddenly we go our separate ways. And the next thing I do is everything that is intimate about you and I post it on social media. Where does the respect for the dignity of humanity coming? Because we're all talking about the fact that the government doesn't respect us. We had a presidential aspirant here came from me that he wants to restore dignity. Are we dignified by doing that to each other? Is that what we have become, where we desecrate that thing called friendship, or that thing called love, that thing called union, togetherness? Is that a new thing because of this social media world? So it's something that can be quite confusing. So that's our conversation today. When you saw the videos of what she was saying, or what he was saying, or what they are saying, or what the comments were saying, the comments, oh my Lord. What came to mind? Nima, want to start? Go ahead, please.
This thing called marriage. There's a before attitude. There's a while you're in the marriage attitude. There's an after. Nobody said it would last forever. For those who it lasts forever, we are all praying for us to last forever, thank God. But if it so happens that it's not lasting, even relationships, it so happens that that it didn't last forever. There's a way you carry yourself. We had a guest yesterday. That guest had God fighting her battles. Simple and short. From interview, from beginning, I didn't miss a thing. Yeah. I didn't get up. You know? She had God. For years, she had to deal with her truth alone. Yes. And so she waited for 20 years plus years for God's time to come. And so now that she's there where the world, people would come. Even the people that have caused this would then want to find a way to come and say, I am sorry. She waited God's time. You're in a relationship. I don't know clearly whether it's a marriage. That one I'm not too sure. Because I'm wondering, how do you get to marriage without the right training? I remember when I was young and unmarried, and someone was saying to me, I'm going to marry. I said, well, they are ready new. It's a thing for the ready. And I knew that time I had a sharp tongue. I could not control it. And I was saying to someone, if I go and talk anyhow in the marriage, they slap me and come back here. So I needed to, mature a bit. The way I see these days, people just come out to talk. And there are rules in my religion that forbids issues of marriage to be discussed. If it is not life-threatening, people like this water down when people leave marriages for divorce, for things that are life-threatening, when they can't even have oxygen in their marriages. People like this water it down. When you bring the reason to, I forced 500,000 naira out of you, you've brought it to money. Do you know what other women are dealing with? They don't even want the money. Just let me have peace. Can I even sleep and close eye and safe? Some people sleep like this in their marriages. Do you know that? You water it down to simple things, and then the uncouth language, the description, the obscenities. God. in this month of the only month.
Yeah, let me not let you go and say what you say.
I'm telling you.
Talk about your thoughts on this, the initial thoughts.
My initial thoughts, I've said it several times, marriage is for adults. Marriage is for adults. And being an adult is not about age, it's about maturity. It's about that emotional maturity. It's about that ability to deal with life when it happens to you, because there's nothing about life that will shake you like marriage. Marriage will shake you. Even in the best of marriages, there are times when you will just be like, what's going on? Did I make the right decision? Yeah. You need to have the maturity to understand there are seasons in marriage, so you don't oversay things you will regret. So your words are egg, like the way egg is. It drops, you cannot pack it back again. We need to become, we need to discuss this thing, because we must call out what is wrong as what is wrong.
Exactly. Her
behavior, her character, the way she lashed out at her partner and the things she said is wrong. You don't say those things. But she shouldn't have said those things. There are things you don't say. No matter how
somebody
bad
say
things are.
why? So wait, okay, I hear you, and I agree with you too. But there'll be an argument that says, are we going to be dying in silence if indeed my partner is not satisfying me as she had alleged? If indeed this has happened in this marriage, should a woman die in silence?
Social media conversation.
That's all.
If your marriage is in crisis, it's not social media that is a therapist that will help you deal with it.
That's all.
If you're heartbroken, social media is not where you will get help. What you get on social media is people will mock you. They would gist about you. You become topics for conversation.
Okay, let me pause
you don't get therapy, you don't get help.
Let me get talk with Mariam's initial thoughts on this, and we'll dig further. Go ahead, Mariam.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on
so I want to start with the part where we tell women not to be silent and use their voice and speak up because of some of the issues that women go through in marriage. And I feel that that video I saw was an abuse and a desecration of that, you know, that thing that we're encouraging women to do. You have just bastardized it so that when women with real issues come out to talk, they will point at you and point at that video and say, is this not what you're encouraging them to do? But that is not it. You know, there has to be a way that you speak that brings respect to yourself. I know that there are a group of people who feel that I will tear you off because this is who I am. I'm speaking my mind. That's who I am. You are telling nobody off but yourself. You are... Everything that comes out of your mouth is just a representation of who you are and you truly are. That's it. Everybody is looking to you and looking at you now. Just think, if this other person comes out with anything, they'll be like, well, we can understand why it did not work out. It has to be because of you. Look at the way you're talking in public. We cannot even imagine how you spoke to this person in private. And then you have younger ones. Maybe you want to have children sometime. Is this the example you truly want to show? Many times we do all these things because of our ego. We want people to hail us. But for how many minutes or how many seconds of your time will they call you and hail you? Then for the rest of your life, behind your back, and sometimes in front of you. In fact, there are some of your friends right now that have held on to this thing, waiting for the day that it's supposed to be your special day, the day that they're supposed to come and look at you for maybe some of the good that you have done, and then they bring out this video for you. I mean, there are different ways to express yourself. I always find people, and that's a mistake a lot of us make, I always find that people who have a certain way of talking, when they're on your side, we encourage them. When they are misbehaving but they're on your side, you be encouraging them. Then the day, because it's a part of the day they now do it to you, you'll feel bad. And so people like that, whether they're your friends now or your family members, you need to be able to call them out for their bad behavior. As far as I'm concerned, whatever it is that she was going through, the way that she decided to deal with it was wrong. You don't call people out and lay out dirty linen like that. It's not right.
Yes, she said he did a live video. He's always on live. So I'm looking for his video, but I don't have time in this period to be searching that. And I'm waiting to see if he pops up. But she claims he did a video and that he sent private messages to some bloggers about building a house. So this is where I have a reply for her. Let's assume that somebody is claiming your work. You know, if it's not your intellectual property that you're battling in court, you have no business talking to them. If we like, where I'm from, because she's you know, supposedly like us, we have verbally expressed.
Expressing.
women.
Niger
You know, if you know, native be shame. If he says he built your house and he's not proving it, that's his talk and empty talk. If you don't answer him, he doesn't prove anything. If you answer him, it just might prove some things. So if he says he built your house and you say you built your house, you went on in replying him, expose your business about how you're influenced and you take this amount, X amount of money. There are people who get paid better than what you mentioned. Monthly for what you do monthly. And you just came and you just exposed your secret, the secret of your trade, in defending yourself when the matter is not even up for defense.
Yeah.
Because the matter is not before any court. Nobody's going to decide anything except based on their biases, what they feel about it. And based on some people's biases, what you did was trash.
Now, let's talk about the comments, because many people were hailing her, just like you said earlier. And I just think the thinking people have today, they're saying, okay, if I was this person's friend, would I want to continue to be this person's friend? Because tomorrow I just might be the victim. You know, I might fall out. You know, me, I remember there was a friend that I had that, oh God, let me share this. I had a friend back then, and, you know, she had issues in her marriage and everything, and we're pretty cool. And she was talking about getting bloggers to talk about her spouse, because her spouse was this public figure and everything. My husband was just listening. When the person left, well, that person cannot be your friend. If she's planning to send messages to bloggers on this matter, she will turn on you tomorrow. Because my husband has serious native intelligence. He's that one, please. Don't let her come back to this house. So if you have friends, or because thank God we don't have this kind of community, we don't have this kind of friends, but if you have people like that around you, where every little thing they go on social media, Nima does this thing, I will slap your face. Yes. If you try me, the other day, how do we think of people around us? Do we think about the friends? Do you think of the community that we live in? Do we think of the repercussion of this act when we do it on social media? That, look, after I've done this to this one person, every other person around me are thinking, maybe I might be the one tomorrow. That's just run away from this person. Yeah. Is that a possibility?
Yeah. So, obviously, there's a Yoruba proverb that just explains it. What they used, the cane that was used to beat the first wife is waiting for the second wife. The same thing would happen to you. But aside from that, that's why we're discussing this, because you see that social media is changing the way people think and reason. There are a lot of things that are going viral, and seemingly lewd, bad things go viral, and there are people that are hailing it. So before we begin to confuse young people on what is right or what is wrong, that's why we're discussing this. Yeah. It is wrong.
Yes, let me go on a break. We'll continue from the fact that it is wrong. Stay with us, right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. All right, so in fairness to Nkechi, let's look at the other side. She has never told anybody she was a saint. She has never told anybody I'm perfect. She's never told anybody, listen, this is nice. So she is who she is.
This is Nkechi.
Now, and this man saw her and married her. So what do you expect? So what's the hullabaloo about, oh, she said this, she said that, she was so lewd. That is who she is, and she's never been apologetic about it.
So I was going to say the exact same thing, that this is vintage her. Well, during the break, we were saying we should expect that our names will be mentioned in the next few days because of what we're saying. That's who she is. She attacks. I remember when we were having this conversation about FFK that time, and we said, some other people before had said he did this. So when you now come into that relationship, you should know that it might happen. This is who he is. So we must read the handwriting on the wall. We must be sensitive. You saw someone's behavior to another person, and your husband gave you the lesson. They gave you the answer sheets already, because there's something they would do. Tonto Dike's is also embroidered in this kind of similar drama where she's broken up and she's spilling everything spillable. But we saw Tonto Dike do it before to, what's this other?
The ex-husband.
The ex-husband. She did it to the ex-husband. This new guy saw how she did it to the ex-husband, and you entered. So you now went out and think that you come out a saint. This is follow the patterns. This is who she is. And if you choose to go into that marriage or go into a relationship and you say you want to love her, then be prepared for whatever happens at the end.
Now, going to the part of teenagers, what I'm learning, but you see, when people say stuff like that, what are we teaching young people? But the truth is that in every part of the world, there's the good, the bad, and the ugly.
So choose
so
the
you
one
cannot,
you want to follow.
whether you like it or not, you can't expect an Nkechi to be the perfect saint all across. Your kids will see the bad, the good, and you have to be the one to help them to distinct.
This is why it's responsible of us to not discuss it as if it's in a positive. So for any young girl who's watched her mistakenly, watch us mistakenly knows that, okay, something is wrong here.
Yeah.
And so the person can then do a balance. But when you make popular the wrong things, the part where she called lesbianism as if it's a common word, these are things that you shy. If you even have it, you are shy, you are looking for help. We popularize all these things. They are just everywhere in people's faces.
Well, that is debatable. Let us not go into that. That's
for
debatable.
someone who is married, obviously, maybe she was doing it to win an argument. You're fighting. You're just
Fighting.
You have to be strategic. If the man even did anything wrong, as at now, for those of us who are not inside the marriage, who are just judging from outside, there's only one person that is making noise and misbehaving. The man is talking, might even be cheating her.
What if, Mariam, she has been in a frustrated marriage where nothing was happening in the other room, where the man was not doing anything, and she's having to resort to toys to satisfy her. She's frustrated. And then she's a celebrity. She has a platform. She's expressing it. Why are we upset that she's expressing herself?
You know, there was a time that I was somewhere and people were just talking about really intimate things that they do. And I said, and you know, they looked at me as usual, we are not going to say anything. I said, we all go to the loo, right? All of us.
Yes, no.
But when we go there, we go in there, we sit down and we close the door. There's a time and place for everything. If you have a problem and you want to solve the problem, or you want to do something about it, it's either you go to the person, the therapist, the doctor that can help you solve the problem. But if you want to mock somebody, then you do what she did. So it's not about her being frustrated. If she was frustrated and I want to work this out, it's a doctor or a therapist that should have been listening to this conversation. But if you want to make fun of someone, if you want to bring someone down, if you want to make the person, see, I'm going to destroy your reputation. I'm going to make sure that the world looks at you and laughs at you. One thing I know is that when you dig a hole they say when you're digging a hole for somebody, be careful how deep you dig it because you just might fall into it. So in bringing someone down, you also bring yourself down.
What if somebody, a wife, Mariam, let me stay on you for a minute. What if a woman right now is going through what she's going through, where that one's husband is clueless on this matter and nothing's happening, and she's empowered by Nkechi's video? So I can actually have options. I can actually go and do. So she feels like, okay, I'm not alone in this thing. This thing that this Nkechi has come out to say, and we are all going through it. Maybe she has actually lifted somebody's mind.
Is she 8? This person that is looking, because every time there are different platforms that talk about issues like this in a very respectful, decent manner, in a way that it will help you even get help if you wanted help. It's not everyone that is inside the frustrated, intimate marriage that is looking to fight with the person online. Some people are looking to solve it, and there are many platforms that provide that.
Happy to solve that.
My problem with that video that we saw is that we just saw a woman who was out to get someone else. That was it. It was just malice. That was what we saw. And we're trying to tell people that that is not the way to go. Yesterday, we had a woman here who, I said one part of her story was, you know, we were really awed by her success and everything. But she talked about how I'm not naturally a nice person. I used to be jealous and envious. And until I changed, see the blessings that came with it. And that's the message we want to tell people, that there are some behaviors that have bad consequences on your life, on your development, in your success, in your relationship with people. And then there are values that when you have, it would multiply and make you a better person. And so for all of us, for our children, that's what we want. And I also recognize that some people behave this way because they don't know any better. I've met people that now realize that this is their this was the situation that they were born into. That's all that they saw and all that they know. And now, as adults, they just, you know, act that way. But social media, I would say some of the good sides of it is that it also opens you up to different options. There are people who will be going through what she's going through now and dealing with it in a decent manner, and someone would learn from it and say, okay, so this is how to behave when I find myself
Let's
in
take a few
situation.
messages on YouTube and tweets.
We have a lot of them.
Go ahead.
Say real life, not be mathematics. People should always resist the urge to shalaye. That's Alexander. Alexander Ifeanyi Call Michael says, she said the guy, they always do social media online. Now online husband and boyfriend she they follow. And
well, are
I'm selecting
are her
the ones
claims grounds for separation? Just like, I mean, I'm connecting to what Miriam just said.
Anything can be ground for separation for each person.
Yes,
it might not be separation for me, it might be separation for her. What we're saying is, life can happen. Your marriage that is so rosy might break up. When it happens, don't bring that
to the public.
Terrible, private things.
Okay.
Things that only you, like when you're married, you're supposed to be open to your partner.
Yeah,
imagine you get married and you're wondering, in case this thing don't work out, let me not tell this person everything about me.
Because as a man, some men have watched this now and say, I can't be vulnerable with my wife because she'll go on social media, especially if she's a celebrity.
Some people don't understand this influential position that they hold. We need to treat life with an attitude of gratitude. We need to handle that talent or gift or the platform. Because for her now, it's a platform. The popularity, it's a gift. It's a privilege. It's not something you abuse. This is what God has given you to fend and earn what you eat. Treat it as that, nothing more. It's not a sword. When you go public with anything private like that, it's a double edge. You're cutting yourself as well as you think you're cutting the other person. You just might not even be reaching the person. And I'll quickly shift this to the story of the other dancer we took the other day, because the husband is still talking, trying to emphasize that she didn't want the baby that, you know, she had, and that because of that, he's trying to get, you know, she got sole custody of the children for a temporary period, and he's being pushed out of his children, and it comes every time to social media, oh God, there's a court. Reason is because the court knows how to treat these matters discreetly. Those are not open courts. Not everybody is welcome to such courts. When it comes to family matters, it's secret, only family, discreetly treated, for the sake of the children when they grow up. Now you go public and you tell the world that your wife did not love her child. You don't get belesi. We don't get belesi. We know how they be. There's a difference of, I don't want this pregnancy, and there's a difference of, I don't want the baby. Now, two different things. A woman is going, and it's the difference of when I have lost the baby, oh my God, I have lost the baby, I didn't want it. It's hormonal imbalance. It's not your business. It's something you would never understand.
Whatever issue it is, keep it private. Exactly.
But now you come out, you put it out there. Imagine the child at 16. She's just checking something. Something stupid pops up, and a story of how she wasn't wanted as a child. You start another badge of psychological problem for that child. Think about it in the long run. Right. It's not everything that they do publicly. Yeah. Sometimes you leave these battles, and God will even fight it better than you. Look at our guest yesterday, her story. God will fight it better than you. All this, you don't need it.
It doesn't solve any problem.
Please.
Fantastic. I think we can wrap up on this. As I said, we don't like talking about people on this platform, but we try to learn lessons from these experiences. And I think the summary of this is that, yes, marriages will continue to have issues. Because you have a celebrity platform does not mean you have the right to bring it out into open. What we need, there's some things should be kept private. Just like Mariam gave us an analogy, that she's responding to people that we all go to the toilet, we all poop. We don't all do it in private, because certain things must be done in private. So you poop in private, your matter is private, your marital issues, your challenges in bed, your intimate issues is private.
And if you cannot deal with all that, walk away.
And if you want to fix the problem, there are plenty of professionals who can handle it for you. Thank you very much for sharing the story. Let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll bring in our next guest. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So join us now is a Nigerian movie and theater director. She's also a lawyer and a founder or managing director of Terra Culture, the foremost Nigerian arts and culture center located here in Lagos. Welcome with us, Bolanle Austen-Peters, BAP in the building. Welcome to the show.
Welcome. Nice to be here.
So you've been busy with so many movies. We know you're on set right now with Funmilayo Ransom Kuti. You had finished a movie which had actually recently got nominated. Yes. Is it called Collision Course?
Yes.
I had seen that premiere also. That last year, fantastic job. And now there's one coming up tomorrow. Man of God, please tell us what's going on with you and all these movies and what should we be expecting tomorrow?
Well, thank you for having me, and it's a pleasure to be back here.
Yeah.
I think I've been here once or twice before. During COVID, we got very busy. We just essentially dived into making more movies because I'm sure you all know we do a lot of theater at Terra Culture.
Yes.
But COVID showed us also that for posterity, we needed to record our works because stage is live. You do it and it's done. So we decided that we'll start doing things that can be recorded for posterity. Hence the dive into movie making. We'd had a short, brief stint in movie making with 93 Days,
Yeah.
which we produced, and also Bling Legocious, which was my first directorial debut.
Yeah,
Yes. So we just said we're taking this seriously, and there's no better way to do something than to dive into it and do it, repeatedly, and that's what we've done.
So when you talk about recording, doing your stage plays, do you mean, plays that were done on stage and now being done into movies, or are they different scripts?
No, completely different scripts.
So you have this really quiet man, like, yeah, we're not making noise, we're doing the work.
Yeah.
And yes, very action oriented, and you've done so many things back to back, but you're a woman, you're a mother, you're running businesses. How are you? It's a bit from what we're here to talk about, but it's just, I'm just looking at you like I feel I'm busy, but you're definitely busy. How do you?
Good while at it.
And you look good. So how do you do this? How do you marry it? What are the things that give occasionally?
Yeah, it's a very good question because, a lot of us tend to feel that we have to be perfect. I'm not perfect. I've embraced my imperfections. And in the course of running Terra Culture, which is a multifaceted business, and doing all the direction that I do, some things have given, certainly. One is your health. There was a time I was very ill because, you overwork yourself. So now I'm deliberate about taking time out during the day to sort of like rest for 30 minutes or 40 minutes in the course of the day. The second thing is friendships. You don't have time to socialize. You don't have time to keep up with friends and chit-chat.
Remember the birthdays?
Yes, I've lost all that skill set. So it's not a good thing, but it happens, that's life. But yes, it also...
That's why I know, because I know that happens to people like you, because I try to always keep tabs with you. I always send you messages to remind you, to say, listen, we're there to support you, because I know that someone like you might never know, and that there are people there to support you. That's why it was so important to me, like, I always send messages. But I'm happy that you said it, that you've lost that skill set, because even me too, I've lost that skill set, but I'm trying to make a deliberate effort to actually...
Yes. So I love that your movies, I mean, the one that I've seen, we all watched one together, and then I've seen like clips of the one with Akan, and the way it's so authentically Nigerian.
Yeah.
So I love that, and I always, when we talk about it with Nollywood movies, sometimes it's either we're trying to copy how they do it in Hollywood, or sometimes we just, when we depict Nigerian stories, it's always in the negative. But I like this balance where we see Nigerian actors, Nigerian stories in this new light. What would you say has inspired that form of storytelling for you?
Well, first is that we have beautiful stories. I mean, our lives, our stories. The second thing is we have a beautiful culture that we need to package appropriately.
Yes.
But more important is the fact that I'm a very serious person. So I kind of don't understand. I try to do things that are fun and silly, but it just doesn't work for me. So I found out that what I like, because I'm a student of history, I love literature, I like my art to reflect life. So when I did Bling, it was my idea. It was a parody of Lagos high life, of the fake women, of the fake lifestyle, of people who are living way above their means. And we all know those people. So that was a story that was quite important for me to tell. It's my own way of preaching. So what I've done with Man of God was an idea that came to me because I'm a faith person, but the way the charlatans have taken over the space and they've turned religion into a business and they've turned religion into profit making and also abuse of the innocent people who are looking for God. So Man of God is another parody. It's very satirical of the realities that we're facing in Nigeria for those who have turned the name of God into a PLC. But I've done it in a very fun, easy to read. But I leave with an admonition that anyone who names the name of the Lord should stay away from evil. That is my own way of preaching.
Preach the gospel.
But I'm doing it in a very easy, fun, relaxed way.
The fact that, you not only direct stage plays, now you're doing movies, How has it been? Is it the same? And has anybody ever spoken about your work? I mean, in the categories of awards and all of that, your work directing stage plays as well as movies, and, credit you for that feat alone. I think it's true.
Well, I think, the truth of the matter is, theater in Nigeria, we don't have an awards body, and we do theater. Most people in theater are just pure, authentic artists. They just want to do their work, right? So we never look for the glory, and they don't give us. But you get glory by virtue of the fact that people acknowledge your work. Your work travels the world, and it is praised. And so that, for me, that's fine. And you create a lot of jobs for young people, and you transfer skill sets. So for me, that's okay. Movie making, on the other hand, is much more, is a flashier environment. You look at all the awards. Collision Course has taken at least about 13, 14 nominations so far.
I was going to ask that. Yeah.
Yes. And
I watched the movie and I froze. I froze. You watched it also?
No,
oh, goodness. That was such a fantastic
script.
Who wrote that script?
James Amuta wrote that script.
I've worked with James in the past. I didn't know he was that good.
James wrote that script.
Oh, my goodness.
But he came back and she was raving about it.
Yeah.
It was something that happened to him. But it was a story that he had encountered the police, but the outcome was not good. So I tweaked it. And what I tried to do was to understand the mindset of the average policeman in Nigeria and a young person in Nigeria. So instead of trying to look for the blame, what I tried to do was to get everybody to understand the fact that we're all brutalized.
Yes.
And it's not him against her. It's all of us together in this collective pain.
So I like over and over again, I'm hearing that you're passing a message and you're intentional about passing a message. And it's something that I feel it's a bit lost in the desire to trend, make money, because this is a business. You have to feed and live up the lifestyle. But I like that you're passing a message. And what would you say is do you have a running theme for all your movies, or everyone is pushing a different narrative per time?
Every single one is different. But what I found out, like you rightly said, in doing it as a business, is that there are some things that cut across.
Okay.
Every movie must be relatable. People must be able to see themselves in the art that you're part. That's really what it is about. And then I also make it light, so that the message is not lost on even a child. So it's easy for you to sit down, laugh, but for the very deep, they'll be like, oh my God, she's passing a very, very, very subliminal message, but it's in there, you can feel it. So, yes, I'm going to touch on so many things that I experience myself on a day that you experience every day. And that's why the relatability of the story is what is critical. You get that done, and the fact that we're a business, our brand has grown sufficiently, locally and internationally, that when we say we're coming out, I don't have to be personally all over the place. The brand speaks for us, so it sells us, and that's what's critical.
And for someone who's had to audition a lot of people, do you audition a person beyond what they do at auditions? When a person comes for audition and they are already popular, you just deal with how they interpret a script you give them at auditions, or do you do background checks? Do you do more?
So it's a mixture, a combination of both. So there are closed auditions, which is, oh, I have the script and I think, oh, you're going to be great for it. So I'll call you in and say, listen, can you read this for me? And at times it's spot on. At times they're like, well, even though I really wanted you, but yeah. But then there's the general one. But because they get at times they get 1,000 people in one day. So now we've reduced it now to online. So that, auditions used to take a week, to queues and queues of young people also just tired in the sun. So yeah, so we now do online, we sift, then we bring in, correct.
So I know a lot of people are watching younger people, and I want to be like you. How can I be like you? You know, especially when you think you start something and then there's just so many challenges just being an artist in Nigeria. And here, you know, it's BAP. She's just done it all. And some people may say, oh, she has money or she has big influential friends. That's why it's easy for her. Is it really true? Can someone without the connect can make it in this industry?
I think in life anybody can be whatever they choose to be by the grace of God. But there are some elements that are critical. No matter, you see, if you have all the money in the world and you're not hardworking, you won't be successful at what you do. And I have loads of wealthy friends that are not successful. They just happen to be wealthy. You know, so the decision or the choice to become a success is personal to you. So I can sit down and fold my arms, you know, because I come from a background that allows me to be comfortable. But I choose to work.
There's a lot of fluffy things out there, the content, the movies, the glam, the glitz and everything. And people rush to watch these movies because they have a platform, they speak, the publicity is there. Do you feel you compete with these guys? I mean, do you feel like you have to kind of live up to these expectations to do what people want? Or you want to stick to this pattern of you have to tell a story in a certain way that is deep? You know, some people might get it, some might not get it, but there's something that Nigerians love. They love that. Hey! But that's what they sell. Well, how do you interpret that?
I think that you must always have a balance. You know, so like you rightly said, there's room for all. You know, Nigeria is such a big market that the noisy, blah, blah, blah ones can actually have their own space. And you can actually carve a niche for yourself, and you still have enough people to also. So my point is, be original. Don't follow anybody. Be who you are. Find your market.
My question on the background check was to see how this negativity that we see in this business of, you know, of filmmaking, actors and all of that, some of their drama.
Oh, actors that trend negatively with their personal life and stuff. We were discussing a bit of that before you came on set.
Discourage you from, you know, giving them a role.
But for me, I don't really, honestly, it's about the job. If you can do the job, we give it to you. So Aka, as an example, a man of God, I auditioned a lot of young men. Aka came in, and I said, actually, Aka was going for collision. But then there was a clash in his diary. And then I saw Etim Effiong, another phenomenal actor. These are all people that came from stage, by the way. So you can tell why their craft is very good. So I saw Etim Effiong, Daniel, and I said, okay, so you will do collision. So I swapped them. That's what happened because both of them are so good. You'll see she's watched. She's seen collision. When you see Aka, you'll understand what I'm saying. He does the three. He can sing, he can dance, he can act, and it's very personal. So your fame also helps in certain instances. But, you know, a good product sells itself. So I tend not to rely on people's popularity. I tend to rely on the content and the quality of the work that I'm presenting. So maybe you need notoriety if you don't have a lot to sell.
Very true.
We have to wrap up.
I wanted to take you into challenges because, you know, what you're saying, it looks like everything it was all, it's like smooth, and the reality is, people learn more from our challenges than from our victories because it makes them feel like if she could do that, then I can get over it as well. So what would be one challenge that people might not know about, but you're very grateful to God that you've been able to, it challenged you and you're out of it now?
I think, you know, the biggest challenge is running an institution in Nigeria, to be quite honest. You know, my staff, I've always had minimum of 70 staff since I started Terra over 18 years ago. So how do you sustain a business in Nigeria? With the taxes, with the lack of government support in a lot of infrastructure issues, you know, and diesel. The bill for diesel that they gave me last week, I can't even tell you. It's a joke. So, you know, sometimes I'm discouraged. Sometimes I say, why am I doing this? I can sit back, why am I doing this? But then when I go and I see the lives that are transformed, the people that get jobs, then the people who are given a platform to showcase their God-given talent, I sleep, but I say, it's worth it.
So we have to run on. Yeah.
I've been worried.
Man of God. Just
Man of God, you're going to come.
give us a sneak peek on what.
Yes, it's tomorrow. Tomorrow, our premiere, and it's going to be on Netflix next. So it premieres on the 16th on Netflix. So all of us, please, everybody,
Netflix.
in front of the television, your friends.
Yes,
it's a Netflix original,
Oh.
which is a good thing for us as a business. So we're going out there. Tell your friends, tell your family. In Europe, it's worldwide. It's showing worldwide. So if they're in America, if they're they will all get to see the Man of God, April 16th. Please be there. I will see you all tomorrow.
Yes.
Heavenly Glam. We're going to have a good time. It's a party. Until dawn.
I thought it was a movie premiere. You come there and watch
Scream,
And then you party.
till dawn. We're taking away the drudgery tomorrow. We just want to have fun. We've worked so hard. All of us deserve to relax. Let's go have a party.
Okay, then. So, see what we can
Thank you
do.
so much for coming.
Let's go on a break. When we come back, move on to other segments. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. Join us is a movie producer, entrepreneur, actress known for her outstanding roles in the industry with several awards to her name. Welcome with us, Bogo Big's girls, Laide Bakare in the building. How you doing?
I'm fine.
And congratulations on your new house.
Yes.
We saw the mansion.
Which is not the
the
first.
new mansion.
Which is not the first.
Oh, it's not the first. I thought it was your first house. So.
That's the 5th one.
Hey!
Forever. So,
Congratulations.
you've been
Wow.
forever.
So how have you been? How is work? How is life? Tell us what's going on with you.
Yeah, so far so good. Alhamdulillah, I'm here today, and I'm able to showcase one of the stuff I've been doing in the past. Because for one reason or the other, I couldn't just showcase that part of me for some time for personal reasons.
Yeah.
Because I'm someone that I'm on the quiet side. I love my private life. Yes, I love it private.
Okay.
If I can have my way, that's what I want, and that is what I value. But, sometimes, shit happens, and, before you know it, some stuff are outside. But what I can control, I try to control it. So for me, I think why I was doing real estate and not really putting it out there was just because I just want to remain my humble self. I don't want noise. I don't want people to feel like, oh, she's a billionaire, she's rich, she's that.
Are you a billionaire?
I can't say, honestly.
You don't want to tell us now. Yes, you won't tell anybody. Are you a billionaire?
I don't want to disclose. No, not billionaire, but what I feel is,
You're good.
I'm good.
Oh,
So,
high five. I'm good. High five. Nima, let me let you start.
Okay, so for reading about you just yesterday, I found out that you finished from Unilag. And you did strategic studies, I think. But when you came into the industry, you came in through the Yoruba movie industry, and there was this popularity there that most people in that industry didn't need formal education. They just needed to be a theater group member, and that's it. How did you deal with having to join one group or the other to join?
Yeah, it wasn't easy because, coming from the university, because the strategic studies was actually my second. So the first was in UI, theater arts, and then, in fact, the people, in the outside world then acting, they feel like you can't just be coming from school and be claiming some sort of knowledgeable, personality in what we do, because this is our craft, this is what we know how to do best, and we are like the best. So you just have to calm yourself down and just pretend like, you know nothing and listen. So I was able to, manage that because I was learning both in the university and outside the world. And that gives me much more advantage to better study, and it pays off. I think it's really
it actually pays off.
Yes,
I know that first you're an actress and everything, but I'm really excited about your real estate life and the mansions you've been building. You said something which is your hustle, your sweat. Many Nigerians always say about, especially female actors, when they come out, their hustle, their sweat. What is your own hustle, really? And what is this sweat?
Yeah, one from day one, right from my secondary school age. That was when I actually got contact with the movie makers. So right from when I was 15 years, I've been acting because all the, the major movie makers, they come to my father's hotel for recording, and so I used to help a lot in giving them whatever they need in terms of space, living room, bedroom, and all that. So they kind of, like my personality, and they invited me to join. So right from my first day on set, I got paid, I got paid handsomely, and it was quite worth it. And I feel like, oh, okay, so I found a job right from when I was in JSS3, and I feel like, oh, more, I don't need to go and be, on set.
Maybe that's why you decided to do theater acts immediately.
Yeah, immediately, yeah. So I found...
Let's talk about social media, because your interview is great.
Controversy.
We like controversies.
Okay.
Because before you came, we were talking about one of your colleagues in the industry, Nkechi, bless
Someone
her,
you
was
had
going on and on about her man and everything. I don't want us to focus on her because I don't want you talking about anybody, but this new way of, I'm upset with you, me and you are falling out, and we go on social media and we scatter everything. What's your thoughts on that? Because we've seen quite a bit of it happening on social media every day. People go here, come and complain. What's your own thoughts on it?
Well, I feel it's shameful, and I feel most of the time some people are abnormal. Because I really don't think it's okay for you to just pick up your phone and begin to say stuff about your personal life in the open like that. Like, I can't even have a one-on-one argument with someone in a corner of a room, not to talk of, me doing all that from my phone and posting it to the world. And sometimes I feel like, hey, people are going through a lot, so maybe this is one way they kind of let it out, and maybe they feel okay. But I feel that's kind of abnormal. Right. So, for
it's
me,
not something that you would do.
I will never. No, never. Sometimes
this is a trade. This is a business for some of them. This is give. This is content for them.
Yes, unfortunately it is. Unfortunately it is, because when you are modest, you're disciplined. You go your way. You do right. You act right on social media. You hardly get patronage. But when you turn yourself to some sort of well, but all these crazy people who have followers more than you do, they will influence for brands more than you do, and they get more money.
Them have 5 mansions.
It's a big, that's the difference. When it's not organic, it's not genuine, it's fake. But you have to fake it until you make it. You have to be some sort of, a nuisance for people to follow you, because be a shy Yoruba money will do.
But she be
people want to watch, because it's really not easy. It's not everybody that don't see that way. So, but you that you
maybe they were just acting it. Maybe she was just acting it.
Mariah, that proverb is apt. Apt, because that's why that's the only way I can understand having so much followers, people staring, people commenting. So the Yoruba proverb she just said is that a madman is easy to watch.
Enjoyable, not easy.
Nobody wants to give birth to that madman. So that seemed to be like the drama was saying. But beyond the madness of it, is that sadly we are getting into this space where people feel is right. Like, I'll call you out. You do something, we will take it to Instagram, we will take it online and fight. How do we begin to change this level of craze happening online?
You can't change it. It can always get worse. It can never be changed, because either ways, people are moving to the next level, because you realize you see someone today, a nobody, and just with that craziness, that's somebody to be like someone
that's why big brothers people.
And before you know it, they're rubbing shoulders with, I am mighty in the society, and they're like, and people, and they're modeling it to, younger ones, and they're like, me say I go start the craze. You are crazy. Open my body.
I'm telling you. You see all these people. Even a few of them come out. Cross dressers. God bless you. Celebrities. Has gone to London and is doing masters degree.
Before you know is they are up there. Either ways they might not really be who they are, who they project to be. But one way or the other, life is better for them now.
People accuse Yoruba actresses for behaving this way. So and I know that there's a body that you have. Is there a body that sort of helps to guide and punish and sanction behaviors that they feel that may be unbecoming of your association?
It used to be, but I don't think no more. because now everything is digitalized. You're on your own. You can be your own boss from the corner of your room with your smartphone and your computer. And before you know it, you're your boss. So you can say anything to anybody and you get away freely.
There is a perspective that Yoruba actresses really, there's nothing there that many of them just, where are they getting this money from? Is it from this, they're acting. And you have said you've done real estate. There's somebody watching you now and say, how did you start real estate? How are you buying? How are you selling? What exactly made you rich?
Oh, okay. In my own case, it's going to be some sort of story that I never even imagined I could tell on air. But maybe for the first time, I can share this because it was never in my plan. I love acting. It's what I've been doing since when I was, little, when I was a teenager. So, and from my background, my family background, wealthy background, my mom, my dad, everybody, even in my area, everybody, I would like the Bakari children and all that. But when I got involved with, marriage happens, and, I dropped everything. I dropped my ambition. I dropped everything because I feel I was married to a billionaire, and I really don't need to work. Not me, but he doesn't really want me to. And something happened, some sort of, little thing like that. He was at fault, and the next thing is get out of my house. And before I know it, I looked back and I was like, get out of my your
house?
Really? So I really needed to, take my leave and all that and think back on house.
No wonder now five.
So I had to restructure my life. I had to, start all over again. I had to pause acting for some time and look elsewhere. Then I travel a lot. There are so many opportunities when you travel. So I tried to tap into some opportunity. Then I was getting
more money here
and I was coming back home to buy. I could buy cars, buildings. That were old. I demolished. I built for 2, 3, 4, 5 bedrooms in, all the high-rise. I have 9. Anyway, I don't like to talk about that.
Fantastic. But, so you started that way.
Yeah,
and
I started that way. Yeah, so all my properties have been, doing for commercial purposes.
Wow. Rental.
Yeah. So
fantastic. Oh, God.
Yeah, because at a point I feel like, okay, let me do one.
So this one that you recently launched, this is your own personal house.
Well, it is my personal house, but now, real estate now. So when you have money, you might sell it and you build another one, or you retain it. Or, it's money now. You're selling money now. You do something like almost 150 million naira, and you've gotten an offer of 180. You might just sell it and do another one and another one. So I feel this particular one was actually done under 4 months, and even me myself, I was like, wow, is this possible? Then I feel like I could help a whole lot of people. Then why still not, project this real estate part of me? And I feel like, okay, so this is the time. So I had to push it. Yeah.
Okay, so
that's exactly what I'm doing.
I'm really, really happy for you. Honestly, we need to celebrate. Real estate is, I'm in the industry, so I understand. But there are some controversies that... Controversies that this is a platform to clear the air, We're happy that you're here. Social media sometimes, you don't even know what is true from what is wrong. So there was a story that came out that we don't even know if it is true. They say you and another of our auntie, Kemi Afolabi, that you people, you yam scatter, happened because of one actor, a man, and we don't know if it is true, but they say it was a really serious fight. So, but people have now resolved it. Yeah. So is the man still with you, or the man is now with her?
No, not going anywhere. Unfortunately, that's the craziness we really need to deal with these days. When you pick up your phone, maybe you're bored, maybe you're depressed, you don't really know what to write. It has never happened to me. So sometimes, like recently, even about my, my new house. I was told an actress posted something like, since all of us, they lie now. Even my own house cost. And people started tagging me and talking to her and said, oh, don't mind her. She's crazy. Doesn't say anything. Why would she say somebody that built house in Mowe Ibafo, one bungalow in Mowe Ibafo, and the bungalow and the land said was 3 million naira or 2 million naira now. So you can imagine when she bought it. I'm now talking to you, where you buy your own land, 70 million naira, not talk of the building on it. And I'm not like, so people will always, and I'm like, I check online, I saw it, and I'm like, this person never mentioned my name. Yes. So if she said, since we lied, she knows she is a liar. So that is what she does for a living, and that is what makes her cool. My name was not mentioned, so I ignored it. Even as I ignored it, bloggers still come to my page to do something and and
join together.
And I'm like, hey, so the Kemi Afolabi issue, no, that was nothing like that. Why I don't even understand. So what happened was, I think she posted something. She posted, because we called ourselves 2020, and she posted, Talo the 20th, so no, she said, now she give me fame. And clearly I knew she was talking to me, and I was like, what happened now? You know, that day, it just caught the bad side of me, and I'm like, it be like, say, this keeping quiet, you know, be real. So me, I tried like, who be your training? So I did that, and before you know it, the people that knows our relationship and you know, fight with other colleagues on a particular guy, they just concluded that it was because of that guy. And the guy that me, I've never even, I'm like, maybe I've acted on set with him once or twice. I don't even know anything about him. And you know, he said,
so who's your daddy now? Who's your daddy now? Who's the man?
Who's the man?
Who's there?
Who's the Olorioko?
Now? Yeah.
Now?
Yeah.
Let's keep that part.
Oh, me oh, wait. You tell us during the break. Let's go on the break. You tell us. Stay with us. Spill these beans. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
That's you acting, being versatile. Yes, Nima.
Well, the issue of the
significant other.
Yes.
Tell us your relationship with Tunde Oyo.
Well, yeah, let me tell you something. My life, sometimes I think I designed it by myself. Yeah, you know, growing up, I just sat down, I said, I want to have a baby. I wasn't thinking of marriage. So I said, I want to have a baby. So I had my first child. And when I wanted to have more babies, I decided to have more babies. Okay, now...
I don't understand.
I need to have connection with a guy.
Okay.
So that was so now, I went to... So when you ask, who is the man, or what's the relationship and all that, so for me, my own belief is... the paramount thing in my life is my happiness and my children's happiness. Marriage is not for everybody. It is not a must that I'm married. Yeah. Sometimes I look into the future and like, okay, when one gets older, do you really need someone to be by your side and all that? But am I really ready, you know, from now to take it from now to that point? If I found a very good man, but if not, I think I'm okay when I'm alone. So he's the father of my children. We're cool, and I just wanted to remain like that, like that, because you know, from onset, it wasn't really about love. It was about I want to have babies.
So they carry his name or your name?
Yes. So his name. No, it's not.
She cannot
you know, I need to ask this question. You know, there's this thing online, small girl, big God, and we know the big God is all the Baba in the scene. And you know, there's this lady, lady or man, we don't even know who the person is, that is always causing wabulence on Instagram, that would dig up some stories about people. We always pray that we don't enter the trap of this person. But what would you say about this flamboyant fake lifestyle that your celebrities, your friends, your colleagues are displaying on Instagram, and the impact on our young people?
Well, it's the impact that is, you know, is the impact that is sad, because, you know, if you decided to live your life like that, it's okay. But, you know, what you model to the next generation, and before you know it, it seems like the whole world is falling apart and that you can never be right. Okay, like, for instance, during my housewarming party, I have all this celebrity, online Instagram celebrity that actually pledges cow, you know, promise this, promise that, even took, you know, the Ashwebi without even paying and all that. And I'm like, you people used to do online. How come you can't pay for Ashwebi? You can't even, you're just making mouths. You want to do something. So is that life? You know, you ask yourself, like, these people, they're not what they claim they are. So, I will just plead to, you know, younger ones coming up. Like, forget all this, you know,
So earlier I'd asked you, maybe I didn't put it properly, I asked you and I said, what was this hustle what is this sweat? And I just thought maybe you could just give us the story, like when you said you started acting at 15. I wanted to hear stories of savings, investment, not just because I want to hear your personal story, just as a way of encouraging someone, like, okay, when you earn your money, you don't chop it all. I put some aside and things like that. So that's why I was asking.
Yeah, you invest your money. You need to invest them because, most especially real estate is capital intensive, so you can't really do real estate without, having what it takes, which is huge capital. So you can't, just, like me, you hardly see me, this glamorous life my colleagues live. Before you know it,
You live it now.
You
see it.
I'm always moderate.
Hey,
sometimes you have an event, and before you know it, they will get
I have to go. What are you working on that you want us to know about? Is there anything, movie coming up, anything?
My Streamline Properties. So we're launching it soon, big time, and we'll start working on it. Yeah, then my
real estate company.
Yeah, it's Streamline Properties.
Yes, okay.
Yeah, so then my movies, because now I want to concentrate more on directing. So I've directed a couple of movies.
Well done.
Now I'm doing another one, Kishi and Kiye.
So we should come and audition.
One of us is an actor, so we'll send her to you.
Anybody can act.
Thank you. Fantastic. Let's go on a break. We'll see you tomorrow. No, tomorrow is Saturday. We'll see you Monday. Have a great day. Bye-bye.